Hi, this is Ty Adranis for Test Pilot RC and Videomaker, and today we are reviewing the DJI Inspire 1. Now we're doing the single user version of the Inspire 1 today. You can use two pilots on this, one person to control the camera, one person to control the aircraft itself. One of the first things you're going to notice about this is it's about twice the size of a Phantom 2. This is good and bad. Size gives some stability, but also it can interfere with indoor flying. Also, the gear retract out of the way. Now you might think this is a gimmick, but it's really not. What you're doing is you're preventing the dark scan lines that can go across your lens from the sun shining through the blades. The Phantom's blades are a lot closer down to the camera, so the sun can be it's much more possible to get a scan line. With these guys, once it's retracted out of the way, it's not going to happen. Also, there's a 4K camera on the aircraft itself, very easy to swap out. So as cameras get upgraded, you can swap them out no problem. Now we're going to be comparing today the Phantom 2 with a Hero 4 on it at 4K. We're going to be comparing this guy at 4K, and we're going to be comparing the S900 with a GH4 running at 4K. We'll get into some of the bigger differences with all those guys later, but for now, let's just get this puppy in the air and see what she can do. Okay, so now that we've seen it fly and it looks really, really impressive, let's actually talk a little bit about the Inspire 1 itself in an objective sort of way. Now, it is outfitted for indoor flight because it has a downward-facing sonar and camera for pixel tracking. That way it doesn't have to rely on GPS when it's indoors. And outdoors, if you lose a GPS signal, it's going to help stabilize that quite a bit. But is it really practical for flying indoor? I say no, it's a little bit too big. Number one is it's much heavier than a Phantom series, so if it bumps into something, it's gonna do a lot of damage, especially with those 13-inch blades. Those are spinning really fast, and they will cut through drywall like a knife through butter. Now for outdoor flight, it's very stable in the air. At first I didn't think so, but then I looked at how the trees were swaying in the distance, and when I flew my Phantom and my S900, they were having very similar issues flying in that high wind, and those are very stable aircraft. So as far as stability goes, it's right on par with the S900 or the Phantom series. Having those blades retract out of the way so that you don't cast shadows and the blades don't get in the way, you can face the camera a lot more straight forward with this versus a Phantom. I mean, the S900, the blades are way out of the way of the camera, so it's really no comparison there. But you can get a much better framing of your picture using the Inspire than the Phantom series. Now, as far as quality of image, there's that 50 megabits per second on the codec. That's not great. You know, most consumer cameras are right around there. And at 4K, if you look at it at the full resolution, you can see some noise. Versus the GH4's 200 megabits per second, which some editors actually prefer to a red. So there is really no comparison. However, when you compare it to a Hero 4, which the camera is a lot more on par with, it's right in the same compression sort of range, but the lens on the Inspire 1 is vastly superior to the Hero 4 in that you don't get nearly the distortion you get on a Hero 4, so you don't have to do post-lens correction. And as you know, post-lens correction means blurring of pixels out towards those edges because you're applying a warp. So as far as the Inspire versus a Phantom 2 with a Hero 4 on it, the Inspire wins there. Price-wise, you compare the Phantom 2 fully outfitted with a Hero 4 and a DJI Lightbridge, and it's only a few $100s cheaper than the Inspire 1 fully outfitted. And the Inspire 1 is around $9,000 less expensive than the S900 with GH4 fully outfitted. So there, on the price front, it definitely wins. Unless you look at the Phantom 3, which we haven't had a chance to fly yet. But the Phantom 3 is around $1,200 fully outfitted. So 1200 versus 2800 for right around the same quality spec-wise, I would choose the Phantom 3. But don't quote me on that because I haven't flown it yet. But if you really look at this footage, you will see some shutter roll, AKA jello, in the lower right corner of the frame during full power, full ascent. Now, granted, this is an extreme circumstance. This is where it is spinning up to the highest possible velocity on the motors, and it's pushing the Inspire all the way to its limit. So under normal flying conditions, you probably won't see the shutter roll. Now, I do say probably, because you still may. It all depends on the harmonics between motors as it's doing different maneuvers. But as far as where it sits in the lineup for DJI, it quality-wise sits squarely between the S900 and the Phantom 2 with a Hero 4 on it. But price-wise, it is way down toward the Phantom 2/Phantom 3 range. So for the money, probably the best one on the DJI lineup. Plus, let's face it, perceived value from your clients when they see this thing that looks like RoboCop come out of the box, way higher than a Phantom. So there is that added bonus. So this has been Ty Adranis for Videomaker, reviewing the Inspire 1 by DJI, and look forward to seeing you next time.
As always, subscribe to our YouTube page, like, share, and comment below. We want to know what you think. If you love video production, want to learn more, and want to stay up to date on the newest and coolest gear, sign up for our exclusive newsletter and we'll deliver it right to your inbox. Want to go down the wormhole? We have more of our YouTube videos below. If you're a Plus member, check out the center video for a premium Videomaker.com video. I'm Chris from Videomaker.com. Thanks for watching.